បាទសូមគោរពជំរាបសួរទៅដល់ជនរួមជាតិក៏ដូចជាប្រិយមិត្តក្នុងនិងក្រៅប្រទេសសូមគោរពជំរាបសួរលោកយាយលោកតាពុកម៉ែពូមីងបងប្អូននៅសហគមន៍ខ្មែរនៅទីក្រុង Long Beach រដ្ឋ California បាទវេទិកាផ្សព្វផ្សាយសហគមន៍សូមស្វាគមន៍ការមកដល់កម្មវិធីខ្មែរ Music Instrument បាទភាសាខ្មែរយើងបកថាកម្មវិធីឧបករណ៍ភ្លេងបុរាណខ្មែរអញ្ចឹងកាលពីសប្តាហ៍មុនយើងបានលើកយកពីត្របាទវាមានត្រអ៊ូត្រសោហើយនៅក្នុងនោះដែរយើងបានអញ្ជើញបងអូនតារាដើម្បីគាត់មកធ្វើការជម្រាបតាក់ទងទៅនឹងឧបករណ៍ភ្លេងហើយក៏គាត់ក៏បានលេងដើម្បីបង្ហាញពីឧបករណ៍ភ្លេងត្រអ៊ូនិងត្រសោកាលពីសប្តាហ៍កន្លងផុតមកហើយដែរបាទអញ្ចឹងសម្រាប់កម្មវិធីថ្ងៃនេះយើងចូលមកដល់ឧបករណ៍មួយទៀតគឺឧបករណ៍ខ្លុយបាទអញ្ចឹងសម្រាប់ថ្ងៃនេះយើងលើកយកពីឧបករណ៍ខ្លុយមកហើយតារាគាត់អញ្ជើញមកដើម្បីធ្វើការបង្ហាញពីឧបករណ៍ខ្លុយហើយនឹងធ្វើការផ្លុំថាតើខ្លុយមានសំឡេងហើយគេលេងយ៉ាងម៉េចហ្នឹងសូមបងប្អូនប្រិយមិត្តសូមតាមដានទស្សនាជាមួយកម្មវិធីរបស់យើងដូចតទៅអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំសូមការអនុញ្ញាតដើម្បីអញ្ជើញតារាចូលក្នុងកម្មវិធីរបស់យើងបាទបាទជំរាបសួរតារា
បាទជំរាបសួរពូ
បាទអរគុណច្រើនតារាតាមពិតថ្ងៃចុងសប្តាហ៍អ្នកខ្លះគេទំនេរប៉ុន្តែតារាហាក់ដូចជា schedule full ហ្មងបាទតារាទៅចប់ថ្នាក់បរិញ្ញាមួយដែរមុនហ្នឹងឯតារា
បាទទៅបរិញ្ញាកូនសាមួយរនាតបករនាត
បាទអញ្ចឹងសម្រាប់សប្តាហ៍កន្លងមកនេះគឺជាសប្តាហ៍ទី2ហើយដែលយើងចូលឧបករណ៍ភ្លេងបុរាណខ្មែរយើងមួយទៀតគឺឧបករណ៍ខ្លុយហើយកាលពីសប្តាហ៍មុននៅពេលដែលបានធ្វើជួបជាមួយតារាបង្ហាញពីរបៀបប្រើប្រាស់ត្រវាមានត្រអ៊ូនិងត្រសោហើយបានលេងទៅលើត្រនោះទៀតធ្វើឲ្យមានការចាប់អារម្មណ៍ហើយជាពិសេសសំឡេងកោទៅមានការជក់ចិត្តមែនទែនទៅលើឧបករណ៍ត្រហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងថ្ងៃនេះយើងលើកយកនៅឧបករណ៍មួយទៀតគឺជាឧបករណ៍ខ្លុយបាទអញ្ចឹងតារាបាទដោយអ្វីដែលរូបថតនៅក្នុងលើ screen ហើយតារានឹងមានខ្លុយគាត់មាន2-3ប្រភេទដើម្បីយកមកបង្ហាញហើយអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំសូមការអនុញ្ញាតដើម្បីជូនវេទិកាទៅកាន់តារាដើម្បីជូនតារាធ្វើការបង្ហាញso thank you Dara for joining us for this is our second week from the previous week we already gone through one of our music instrument we call tro'u and trosao so for today we going to discuss and to share and also Dara he gonna play Khloy yeah so Dara so please the floor is yours so please tell us about Khloy and what is Khloy made from and how can we play it okay please go ahead Dara
yes thank you so much Boo so today I will be showcasing the Khloy once again and it's also called the Bamboo Flute, right? So this is right here. I have a solo Pike B Bamboo Flute, and that is just saying that I have the second octave or the second length of flute. There are different octaves that we have in Cambodian flutes. So I have another one right here. It's also called Pike B, but this one has an adjustable headpiece, so you can tune to other instruments. So this is not a solo one. And it's the same length as you can see. So there's also the Pike B as well, just adjustable head. And then I have another one right here. It's Pike B, which is the third length. Like so. See, as you can see, it is taller than the rest of them. And that is for playing with Tengzamai or with like more of today's music, contemporary music. So for Pike B is used for Mahari music, as well as just general playing. And then there's also another length which I don't have, which is type moi, which is the shorter length, even shorter, and that is for usually for wedding music. So the kloi itself, it has 7 holes, 7 front holes, and then 1 thumb hole in the back that are playable. And then sometimes there are a few tuning holes on the bottom. And the kloi consists of usually a headpiece that's tunable, a air hole that escapes the air, escape hole, a reed that we can blow into, and the body and the mainframe, just like so. And the kloi originally, it was played in the Pinpied Orchestra back then, and it was found in 611. It is in the Pinpied Orchestra. It consists of pin, kloi, skulls and pole, which is the drums, and the ching, and other instruments as well. And should be particularly noted that the kloi is shown in a stone carving dating from the 12th century reign on the wall of the temple of Angkor Wat. The kloi generally belongs to the original Pinpied Orchestra, but later it was used in the Mahari Orchestra, which plays the different types of ceremony music, and the Middle Ages for wedding orchestra, which is playing ka, the Basat Theater, which is for theater music, the Ayai Orchestra, which is for poetry, and other ensembles as well. The kloi is performed solo to beautiful effect. The method of holding the kloi depends on the performer, but for the most part, you put the left hand on top and then the right hand on the bottom. It's like so, and the thumb hole in the back. The body of the kloi is made of a kind of bamboo called pok, and it's a heavy wood or piping. The reed itself is made out of fine-grained heartwood, such as guava wood, so that it does not soak up the saliva. The method for making the finger holes has been passed down from Khmer ancestors. A sugar palm leaf is folded into pleats and then laid out on the body of the kloi. A cylindrical piece of iron, the piece of the size of a little finger, is heated up and then used to burn the equally sized hole of the kloi at equally spaced intervals along the length. The kloi is tuned to the second or third or fourth notes of the Reniat Ike, which is the xylophone, according to the kind of music to be performed. Each hole can produce 2 notes, an upper note and a lower note. The earliest kloi had 4 holes, which later were extended to 6, and later, and still today, 8 holes, including the thumb hole. But additional holes are only for tuning and are known as the holes for letting the air escape. So as you can see, this one has 7 on the front, 1 on the back, and then 2 on the bottom as well, depending on the tuning. And that is all about kloi, or the bamboo flute.
Dara, normally is kloi made from just only bamboo, or it can made from like metal or a different type of a material.
So of course the kloi or flutes are all over the world, and for Cambodian flutes we usually make them out of bamboo, but sometimes it can be made out of wood as well for other blowing instruments. But I know in other cultures, such as here, a Western flute is made out of metal, and other cultures can make them out of wood or plastic as well. And we sometimes use plastic as an alternative as well.
Okay. Okay. So you want to play one of the song from kloi to us? Yeah, please go ahead.
Definitely. So I'll first start off on playing a song called Topin Pei, and this is one of my favorite songs to play.
Okay. But Dara, could you tell me a little bit if we compare with the throw U and throw sound that you already play from last week between throw U and throw sound and KHLOY? Which one is more easier than to play?
So it depends on the person, right? We all have our specialties, but for me, I would consider the trosao to be one of the easier, just because it holds the melodies together. And for KHLOY or any blowing instruments, it requires a lot of air. And I haven't mastered this technique yet, but there is a technique when you play Cambodian wind instruments, and that is called circular breathing. And that is when you still blow out air and then take a breath at the same time. So I can try to demonstrate this as best I can. For example, if I blow out a note, and there's a slight pause, but usually it wouldn't be there, and then you would just continue blowing and blowing in air and playing air at the same time. So that is a technique that I still yet to master, but it's that's the mastery level, is when you practice that circular breathing technique.
Yeah, thank you, Dara. I just want to know as well if KHLOY made from different material, it's gonna have different tone, different sound, or it still have the same? Depends on who you are.
Definitely. It in my opinion, of course, bamboo is what we first used, so we should continue using and preserving that culture. But for like wood or plastic, it might change the tone just a little bit, but you can hear it, but it's still the same notes will come through and follow through. So that definitely has an effect on the tone and the experience of playing. The bamboo flute is very, very, very hard to play because it can change within the environment or how long you've been playing it for as well. So it's a little bit hard to play, but it has that nice rich sound to it when you play it.
Okay, Dara, one more question before we go on our show. Please tell me between throw and throw sound and KHLOY, which one that easier than learning than one another? KHLOY or throw sound? Just now
the easiest. So the easiest, I consider throw U maybe the easiest. The hardest, I'll probably consider this. So one of the throws easier. It depends on the person, but honestly, they're about equal for throw sound and throw U. But I think throw U is maybe a tight easier depending on the song. It really depends on the song, because then you have to switch strings a lot. You may not have to switch strings a lot. You might have to go higher and you might have to go lower with the fiddle instruments or the throws. But for the KHLOY, it's just really hard if you don't have that air capacity and the technique to play the KHLOY.
So how long did you take to learn how to play KHLOY?
So for me, I consider myself a beginner intermediate level kind of player, but I've been playing it for about 3-4 years. But to get that understanding of to play it, it can take just a few months depending on how hard you work on it. Definitely 3 to 6 months maybe. But of course, you continuously learn the craft and the art form.
So how did you learn to play with KHLOY?
So again, just like any other instruments I would play, is just listening to recordings, or I use another instrument of my specialty, which is the Rorthanakdara Run, and then I just transfer those notes onto the KHLOY.
So when you join with the Pinpit team, normally what kind of instrument you are playing?
So for Pinpit Orchestra, the KHLOY isn't actually a part of that orchestra anymore. But if I'm joining a Pinpit Orchestra, I would play my specialty instrument, which is the Rorthanakdara Run or the xylophone, which you'll see in about 2 weeks. I'll present to you. But for the KHLOY, it plays the Mahauri music. I can play Rorthanakdara, I can play the drums, the score. I could play the throws, or stuff. I can play KHLOYs for a few songs if need be as well.
Among the different types of Pinpit instrument, which one is your most preferred one?
Rorthanakdara, because it's just my specialty instrument, of course. For Mahauri, it's also Rorthanakdara, but I also love playing the drums as well.
Totally, how many instruments for Penpiet the total?
So Penpiet, it consists of Rorthanakdara Ike for full ensemble that is usually standard is Rorthanakdara Ike, which is the lead xylophone, the Rorthanakdara Tone, which is the bass xylophone, the Gong Tom, which is the circular gong frames, the low pitch ones, Gong Toik, which is the high pitch circular gong frames, the drums, and the ching, and then there's optional you can add. And then there's one more, slai, which is the oboe, Khmer oboe, and then you can also add on Rorthanakdara Dike, which is the metal xylophone as well, and that's 8 instruments as well.
So at home you have all complete set of the Penpiet instrument, or you still lack or some?
So right now I only have my Rorthanakdara Ike at my house, but the local temple actually owns all the instruments that are available to me and anyone that comes to use them.
Okay, so hopefully we going through all the each Penpiet instrument. Hope you can borrow from a temple.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dara. So what is next song you gonna play?
Yeah, so after this song, we can also go into the class that I'm teaching. So the next song I'll play is one of my favorite songs to play on clay, and that's Bampe, which is the Khmer lullaby. You heard it last week on a throw, and it's just very calming, of course, and it brings back memories to childhood and brings the world peace. So I love the song.
Okay, please.
So please enjoy it, Bampe.
Thank you, Dara. When I listen to the two song, it make me feel miss the hometown Cambodia. Yeah, because the song is like attract you, make your feeling like flying far away from you. So it's like now, just now, I seem like I flew to Cambodia. Remind me my time in Cambodia. Thank you so much, Dara. So
it's funny you say that because actually the flute, every instrument in Cambodian culture is related to an animal or to nature. So the flute, if you can guess, it's actually related to a bird. So it makes sounds of the bird. So of course that you can have. It's funny when you flew to Cambodia. It's the sound. It's also related to the bird, which also flies.
Yeah, okay. I think that's it for today. And thank you, Dara. So before we ending our program, you have any word to say?
Yes. So regarding the class, I teach classes every single Sunday, and the Khloy or the bamboo flute is also on the repertoire of choices you can choose from. I do have a few Khloys if you want to learn this instrument, so that I am able to give out for any of the students. It is recommended that the students that join at the age of 10, but I do accept people that are younger, and you can register for the class by sending me a message on my Facebook page, Not Run, and with your interested instrument and your name, and I would love to have you as one of my students.
My last question for today program, I would like to ask you: you have any dream in order to make like Khmer musical instrument as a library in home at home?
Yes, like regarding to have the instruments at my house, that is definitely a dream of mine. Just one worry is just getting the instruments here and the cost, and then the other thing is enough room. I don't have enough room to keep an ensemble instruments. So definitely, if I move into a bigger house, I definitely have the area to get all these instruments and the money and the cost as well, and then also create a library of recordings so we can preserve the culture with, as well as have sheet music in place for people to learn in the future.
Yeah. Also, again, one COVID-19 have no more in this beautiful world. Maybe we're gonna take some time to visit Arizona. That we have a cultural and wellness center, and we are planning to establish a very big Khmer cultural village with combine different types of culture, tradition, whatever we can showcase our identity and also our legacy from our elder gen. So hopefully we gonna have more opportunity to work as together in coming future, Dara. And thank you for joining us today, and thank you everyone for joining our program today. So see you next Sunday, next week.
And next week we'll go over the drums or skull. So that's if you're looking forward to next week.
Okay, so please, Dara and everyone, stay safe and all the best wishes. Bye. See you next Sunday. Yeah. Bye.